Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than I normally make. Most of my videos are about special needs and health issues, but I had something else on my mind today that I wanted to share with you all, and it kept coming to my mind, so I thought that maybe it will encourage someone or help someone in some way, or you may just find it interesting. But either way, the story kept coming to my mind, so I decided um, to share it. So, to start off the story, this is something that really did happen to me. And first of all, we're church people. My whole family is in church. My parents, my siblings, we're church people. And so like we believe in prayer and those type of things. And because of my birth defect, things can move, like my insides can move. And because of this and different issues that I've had with my birth defect, I've had multiple surgeries to correct different things. And a couple of years ago, I was scheduled to have a particular surgery done that was performed by a general surgeon, not a specialist. I also want to say, by making this video, I'm not talking bad about the surgeon or anyone involved in the situation. This is just exactly how it went. So this is just part of the story. Okay, so I was scheduled for a surgery. This was a couple years ago, and the guy that we went with was a general surgeon, not a specialist. And part of the story is going to be a dream, and part of it is what actually happened. So I'm kind of going to go back and forth. Um, it was like the night before my surgery. I had a dream, and in my dream, we went to the hospital, and it was our pastor and his wife, and me and my parents, and we were in like the pre-op room, and my pastor and his wife had come in there um, to pray with me before surgery, which happens like every time like somebody in our church has surgery. They ask if they can come down to help pray for the person. So that was normal. And in my dream, the next thing I remember is I was put on the hospital bed and I was rolled down the hallway to the operating room. And it was just like this rushed thing, like we were going down the hallway super fast. The next thing I know, it was I was fixing to be put under, and I started getting like really stressed. And so the doctors are like getting the mask and just like the anesthesia mask and everything. And in my dream, I was supposed to be asleep, and I could like see the surgeons working on me, and I started getting like really, really nervous. And the next thing I know, the operating doors came open, and it wasn't like somebody just like walked in. It was like if someone like put their hand out, and it was like opened right then. And this guy that was wearing sandals that kind of looked like the sandals like on the Bible movies, and he was wearing a white robe, and he walked in to the room and he put his hand out. I didn't see his face, but he came over to my bed and he put his hand out, and in the middle of his hand was like a big hole. And I knew that that was, you know, Jesus, because the hole in his hand. And he reached his hand out to me and he asked why I was sad. And I said, well, I'm afraid that I'm not going to make it. And, my family's going to be like really sad if I don't make it through this surgery. And he was like, don't worry, I'm here with you. Everything's going to be okay. And I was like, well, can you just make sure that I wake up? Like, that's really all I ask. I just want to make sure that I'm going to make it. And he's like, you will. So that was like the dream. Now going back to what actually happened, it basically happened pretty similar to how I dreamed it. We get to the hospital. Our pastor and pastor's wife are there. They pray with me as well as my parents. And I get changed, go to the operating room. And then whenever I got back from the operating room, I was put in a room because we're supposed to be staying, I think they said like 1 to 2 nights, depending on how the surgery went. Well, I didn't know this, but the surgery had went wrong, and the surgeon wasn't really sure what he did, but he knew that he hit something, but he wasn't sure what he hit. And so he told us that we needed to stay in the hospital a couple more days so that I could get further testing. And so basically, long story short, my mom told me that we needed to stay a couple more nights for some more testing on a few things, and hopefully like in a few days we could go home. I got further testing and nothing severe came out of it. So I got to come home. I started healing, and I remember I had like the worst stomach pain I think I have ever had in my entire life, because they were cutting on me. I had a lot of scar tissue, and also we didn't know at the time, but they had hit a nerve. That's what the surgeon had hit, was a nerve, which caused gastroparesis. If you don't know what gastroparesis is, it's a partially paralyzed stomach. So we didn't know it was gastroparesis at that time, but they sent me home. I was supposed to be like on a really particular diet after the surgery, and this this is at least what I remember. I might be getting some of it wrong, because a lot of this I was on high pain meds because of surgery, but this is how I remember it anyway. And so anyways, a few days later, the surgeon cleared me to be able to eat anything that I wanted to eat. He was like, we don't know why you're not healed yet, but it was a pretty major surgery and you're a pretty unique case. So I got to eat anything that I wanted, and I still wasn't very comfortable, but we didn't think much of it. Finally, after a few visits with the surgeon, he decided that he didn't really know what was going on and we needed another opinion. So then I went to like this like special hospital, and where there's like a bunch of specialists, and they're like, it sounds like you could have gastroparesis. And we were like, what is that? Basically, gastroparesis is where your nerve in your stomach is hit. It partially paralyzes your stomach, so part of your stomach doesn't work, and then the part of your stomach that does work, it basically makes it where your food digests slower. So like say if normal digestion takes about 20 minutes to digest food, mine would take like an hour. So they did what was called a gastric emptying study where I ate food. They took a picture of my stomach like every hour to see how fast the food digested. And it was like delayed a certain percentage, so then it was considered that I had gastroparesis. And so then I started a special diet where it was basically like eat toddler size meals. It was like every other hour, like every 2 hours or something like that. I would like eat a small meal like every like 2 hours or so. And then some of my meals I couldn't eat some foods, like I couldn't eat like high fiber. So like a lot of really really healthy foods I couldn't eat. So yeah, I ended up getting diagnosed with gastroparesis and changing my whole diet, but that it was really like I think a miracle that I made it. And like even though like gastroparesis wasn't the diagnosis that we wanted, I'm so thankful that I made it through. And um and I did end up having to deal with, other health issues. As you know, you probably know, if this is not your first video of mine, that I'm on a feeding tube, continuous feeds, because I end up a year or so ago having to get a feeding tube placed because of a hernia, plus part of my stomach is paralyzed. But I this story was on my mind today, and I felt like I should share it because I think that it's really easy in your situation to, I don't know, feel alone, I guess. And even though I'm really thankful that I have my feeding tube now and that I can stay full and get the calories that I need and I don't have to do like the gastroparesis diet anymore, um, I I wanted to, encourage someone that if you have some kind of health issue or, disability or some type of struggle in your life, um, I also have special needs if you don't know, um, that can be part of your testimony, and share that with people because people really need to know. It can help encourage those going through a hard time. So I hope that y'all enjoyed my story. Um, Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everyone.